Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to do a kind of project share. I made some pockets and collages and things like that for a swap. This swap is gonna be with Pam. I think her YouTube name is Pam's Paper Place. Hi Pam. So if you're watching and you want to be surprised, I would click out now. I'm just going to go over some of the things that will be going into your journal for the swap. All right, so this is a vintage retro themed journal, and I'm just going to go through and show what I've made. So the first thing I made was this collage. So a lot of it is from old books, and some of it is from like a paper pad cutout. This piece here is from a workbook from the 50s, and this is an old letter book. So I just kind of backed everything onto file folders, and I cut them out, and I glued them together. And this, I think, is going to end up being a tuck spot. So I made that. I made this collage. And then I took coffee dyed paper, and I sewed old book pages from children's books onto the paper, and this is going to turn into a tuck spot where you can flip it up and write on it. So there's that. There's this one with some lace. There's this one. And then this one. And this one. So these are going to be pockets, and I'm going to sew them in. So I'm probably going to sew around here onto the page and just tuck stuff into the back. This is a paper pad cutout, and I put a book page from an old children's book in here. And then these next two things I'm going to show you are inspired by Diane H. She was working on some science journals, and she made this really cool thing that I wanted to try. And I think she called it like a cascading something. Can't remember what it was. But basically, hers were circles, but I kind of made rounded square shapes of these old workbook pages. And then I put brads into them so that they can kind of fasten but still be able to move around. And I put some lace on the top here. So you could either, I'll probably hole punch the book page, the journal page, and then put this onto the top. And this part can be either left displayed like this or folded up. And then it can be journaled on the back too. And the other one I made was this one. And I used some stamps that I have. And I did the same thing. So those were really fun to make. I thought it was a really good idea. And I really love everything that Diane H does. She's probably my biggest inspiration here on YouTube. And then this one is an old ledger paper, and I just put a page from I think it was like a 1950s, sometime in the 50s, maybe 54, a National Geographic magazine, cut this image out, and I glued it on here. I like the way the number looks. I just think it goes well together. And then this is another one I made from the stamp that I have. And I just put some scraps of paper right there. And then I did more stamping, and I put these onto index cards and graph paper index cards. And I made a tab with my envelope punch. And this kind of paper, the tabs that I used for these, The paper is kind of like a retro themed paper. So that one. This one, I just love these stamps. And then this one. And then I did some more stamping onto these Rolodex cards. And I sewed, well, first I took a little piece of lace and I punched an eyelet. I punched a hole into the lace and the paper and I put the eyelet in. So I kind of like that hardware with the lace. I think it makes a very good contrast. And then I put some embroidery thread there and some buttons. And then I made this one, Shades of Yellow. This one I tried to stick with more of a black and white and like a little bit of neutral shades. This one, Shades of Yellow, same thing. This is an eyelet here, piece of lace, and that's embroidery thread and the buttons. Then I did this one with this was my first one actually. And this one I did just with embroidery thread and the green buttons. I feel like the lighting is getting weird. So with this green one, I'm gonna pair it with this index card that I just sewed some, I hand stitched some embroidery thread in there. Probably pair it up together. And then I did this. I made some tags out of the old ledger paper I have, and I put the brad in to connect it. And there's journaling room in the back. This one, also journaling room in the back, and I just put some scrapbook paper there. I found this bag at the Dollar Tree, and I thought the colors, to me, they seemed retro for some reason. I cut a piece of doily, put some lace on it, and then put one of those stamped images on there also. So this is going to get glued into the book, and I'm going to tuck something in there. These next two things are inspired by Gail Agostinelli. I saw one of her videos. I think it's called the faux front envelope or something like that. And I wanted to try my own. So I went with the retro theme. So this is a book page from the National Geographic magazine from the 50s. I loved the color and I just thought the image was really pretty. It really looks 50s to me. Scrapbook paper here makes a pocket, and I made this tab out of my envelope punch. This is scrapbook paper that flips up. This is the tag in here, and it tucks in there. This is some ledger paper again, and then this is an image from a Popular Mechanics book from the 50s. And another one from that book. So these two tuck in here, and then this tucks to the side, and this is a workbook page from the 50s, and I have these two tags in here. And then you just close it back down, and this slots into there, and then on the back side, the envelope flips up, and I just put a bingo card in there. It was a lot of fun to make. I liked thinking about the different kinds of images and patterns that I would have in here. I just thought it was a really nice way to get creative. Okay, and then I made a second one. This is from one of these kinds of envelopes, and I put a tag in here. This is from a Popular Mechanics book from the 50s. And then this one has scrapbook paper. It flips up. This side pocket is made from ledger paper. This one is really, well, actually I think the year might be 1921. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think it's focusing. This is from a Better Homes and Garden like decorating binder. It was like an interior decorating binder. Loved that image, so I put that on the outside. Made a pocket from this, and I put a picture from those Family Circus comics. I really like that, and I like round shapes, so I put that tag there. This is a pocket from a Popular Mechanics book, and I put 2 tags from the same book in that pocket. And this is old ledger paper again. I'm using a lot of this old ledger paper, and it has writing on it, and I love it. So yeah, so those are the things I made for this journal. I had a lot of fun. The retro theme is probably my favorite theme. And I call stuff from the 1950s, 1960s, to me that's like retro, vintage retro. And yeah, I really enjoyed making this. I can't wait to finish the book and send it off to Pam. All right, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.